ready to go takes a little bit of preparation. You have to strap yourself in, check all around you, and make sure there's nobody else coming in for landing or something. Announce your intentions, and then shove the throttle forward, pop the chute up, and take off.
Cedar Valley traffic marker 280 Alpha, taking off 17 right.
Once we're in the air, you climb out a little bit and then start looking around. There had been 2 balloons flying in the morning as I pulled into the airport, but by the time I could get ready and get into the air, only one of them was still up. So, let's go play with a balloon. I put out a blind call asking if any of the balloons in the area might be on the frequency that we use at Cedar Valley Airport. And lo and behold, a balloon pilot replied and invited me to come take a look. I had a little trouble climbing fast enough. He was climbing faster than I was. I didn't want to get too close. But I kept climbing higher and higher and higher. At this point, we were probably about 500 feet above the ground level at Cedar Valley Airport. And the balloon's big round shadow hanging out in the field over there. Looking back over to Utah Lake, the mist rising above the lake was being held down by the high pressure of a large high pressure system that's setting up an inversion. But I don't think that was pollution. I think that was mainly just moisture in the air at the time. I continued climbing, swung back toward the balloon, talking back and forth with the pilot of the balloon a little bit. I've never been up in a hot air balloon. That's one of the items on my bucket list. Maybe someday I'll have to try to get in touch with some of these guys and maybe offer to trade a ride with them. This beautiful balloon is a fine flying billboard for Cottonwood Dental. And at this point here, I wasn't paying too much attention to my altimeter, but it looks like we were about 1,500 to 2,000 feet above ground level here at this point. The wind was almost dead calm. That balloon wasn't going much of any place very fast. And I don't know exactly how they do it, but balloon pilots apparently have figured out a way to gain or lose altitude and take advantage of the slight differences in wind speed and direction at various altitudes above the ground. What they do is, to me, just an absolutely mysterious bit of magic. Another look east, over past Lake Mountain, over towards Utah Lake. All of a sudden, things changed, and where I had been having trouble climbing fast enough to catch up with the balloon, he suddenly began to descend. And I overshot a bit and climbed above him. It was interesting because the air was so dense that day. The air pressure was about 30.4 inches of mercury. The air was so dense that even though I reduced my throttle, cut way back on the throttle and wanted to descend, my parachute just wanted to hang in the sky because the air was so thick and dense and heavy. So suddenly the balloon's going down fast, and I'm having trouble keeping up, chasing him downward. One of the things I've heard about flying a balloon is how quiet it is. I know the burners that they use make quite a bit of noise, but I guess in between blasts of flame from the burner, it's just as quiet can be in one of those things. My engine noise doesn't bother me, but it is kind of annoying sometimes. He was dropping lower and lower and lower over the subdivision. And from my point of view, it looked like he was going to slide on down and drop some toys down somebody's chimney. In fact, I even remarked about that, and I think he came back and said something like, "Yeah, we've been known to do that." As I said, how these guys do their flying is a complete mystery to me. You can see a white van pulling a white trailer heading north on that drive down below. I think that was his chase team. It takes a big crew of people to operate one of these balloons. Not only the people who are flying in the balloon, but a bunch on the ground to follow along and help pack the thing back up. I heard a story once that a balloon pilot says the most expensive part of flying a balloon is buying lunch for everybody who helps you pack it. See that little cul-de-sac down below? That's where he's going to land. I was kind of surprised that there was not a big crowd of people on the ground. But I imagine there are going to be some kids around there telling stories in school about the time the balloon landed in my backyard. I really wanted to get closer and get a closer look at what he was doing, but it's not considered polite for us to fly our machines over houses. So I fudged it a little bit, but I tried to stay a respectful distance away from the rooftops. So one more turn around and another pass along the west side of the housing development. And by this time, that balloon was on the ground. Absolutely amazing. Boy, my hat's off to that guy. That was a spot landing. What was a spot landing?